Welcome back to the Naissus Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Markus, Vasily, Vikander, and today I sit in this chair alone. For those of you who have listened before, we have lost our brother in the chair. He heeded the call and left for the wall to join the night's watch, and this week I received a letter from him, which I'm gonna read to you now because it was addressed to the listeners. He says he has settled in the night's watch. He says that winter is coming, the night is dark and full of terrors, and he says that White Walkers and wildlings are amassing north of the wall, and he requires your aid. For just a small donation, he needs your credit card information and that you can send it to our podcast email. Wait a minute, this sounds like one of those scammer letters. I have to double check this with Emmanuel at a later date. Jokes aside, but the chair next to me is not gonna stay vacant for long because the show must go on, and we have a new co-host. Her name is Kellie-Anne Davidsson, and she will be joining us over link today because she is out working, but we're gonna save more about that introduction until she joins a little later on. As you might have recognized, there has been a little gap between the release of the last episode of the podcast and this episode of the podcast. And, there are several reasons for that. We had one member who joined the Night's Watch and we had to fill his tremendous shoes. But also, you might know that I'm an author and I run a small boutique publishing house here in Örebro, Sweden. And I've had a lot going on with that. And there will be a separate video where you can know more about what's going on with the books and what has been taking up a lot of my time, which has hindered me from coming back to our regular schedule. But now we are back online, and henceforth we will be releasing a new episode every Saturday. So you can count on that for your fantasy cravings, you can tune in every Saturday. So let's get this show on the road.
Yes.
So welcome to the studio, Kellie-Anne Davidsson. How are you today?
Thank you very much. I am totally fine. So excited to be on the show.
We're glad to have you as well. And a fun detail is that you're not physically in the studio today. We're calling you from your workplace. You're a truck driver.
Yes.
So are the roads safe right now in cold Sweden?
Yes, they are. Not slippery, no snowing, so it's perfectly fine driving tonight.
Well, that's good. As I told earlier before you joined us over the phone, you've had a different kind of introduction to the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. Most people are introduced either via the books or the TV show. But you've started watching House of the Dragon, which is in the chronological history of the world, the oldest show. And now you're watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and afterwards you're gonna watch the main show, A Game of Thrones. So that's a fun thing to see what your take on the world is coming in from that angle, which isn't the usual way to be introduced to George R. R. Martin's world.
Yes. For me, it's like for me personally, I'm not like the biggest fan of fantasy, but as far as coming into the shows, like from the wrong order of things, I really enjoy like the cinematic stuff of the shows, and for me, like I know Game of Thrones and stuff. I've heard of it and seen some of it, but starting with I just forgot
House
the name
of the Dragon.
The first House of the Dragon. Oh yes, I'm sorry.
No problem.
House of the Dragon. That was a fantastic show. I really liked to see the dragons and see them communicate with them, and not knowing the basic stuff from Game of Thrones that most people know when they watch House of Dragons.
Yeah, which brings me into a fun aspect of it all, because you were introduced when House Targaryen was at the height of their power, when they had several dragons. They were almost viewed as gods sitting on the throne. And then we make a time jump, and now you see that they're not in that position anymore. They have no dragons. They have to go to a small tourney in Ashford, something that King Viserys or Prince Daemon Targaryen or Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen never would have done. So tell me about that. When you had that picture of the Targaryens and then you get to see the royal family enter the stage, what were your take on them in comparison to what you're used to when it comes to that family?
Oh, it's like they had a big downgrade and like almost like a downfall of the family. Like they used to be these kind of gods, and now they're just like ordinary people with no power. And most people, I thought that most people in that kingdom didn't have respect for them as much anymore in the Night of Seven Kingdoms.
And that's an interesting aspect of it. And George R. R. Martin is a big fan of alternative historical fiction. So that is when you write about real history, but the what if this had changed, or what if this had happened differently. So he has grounded his world a lot in medieval European history, specifically with a focus on Anglo-Saxon history, Great Britain and England, and their medieval history. So you have had examples of families like that in reality, the dynasties that have known, great strength, but that has fallen from grace, or their authority hasn't been equally strong, the loyalty to the crown has been reduced, and so forth. So it's interesting seeing George's take on that and handling of that. But also you have the other characters in the show. So let's start with Dunk and Egg. So you have seen the first 4 episodes. What is your take on Dunk and Egg so far?
Oh, they are the perfect like power couple, like big brother and little brother.
Yeah, almost sibling
those
energy.
Two are like the perfect sibling relationship, with the nagging and the kind of bullying. Those 2 characters are actually my favorites in the show so far.
Yeah. So let's take the first twist that we've seen after 4 episodes, the reveal of Egg's true identity, that Egg was short for Aegon Targaryen, and that is actually a member of the royal family.
Oh yeah. That when I saw that plot twist, I was so shocked. I did not see that coming, to be true. And I thought, oh shit, now that perfect power couple duo is ruined because of that. Okay. Because Duncan, he's very special. In his mind, like to think he thought that Egg was just a normal stable boy with no parents, and then like, oh shit, he's actually a prince.
Yeah, of course that will change the dynamic, but my take on Duncan is that he is a person who have like an idealized picture of the political system of Westeros, an idea that knights are chivalrous, that the lords of the realm do what lords are supposed to do, that a king does what a king is supposed to do. Like, you have a vision on paper on how society is supposed to work, and he's bought into that picture. But gradually it's being revealed to him that his view on reality isn't accurate. Things doesn't work as he thought they did.
No. But I also think that it makes his character... Maybe we'll see his character grow into that state of mind that, oh, reality isn't what I thought it was, considering what he thought about the kings and the King's Guard and everything.
Yeah, and that will come into the question of when the world's reality is revealed to you, do you lower yourself to its reality, or do you try to rise above it? And I think that is the choice that Duncan will have to make on his journey. Perhaps not a choice he's going to make in the first season, but down the line. I think that's the big thematic question that is being presented through this character. Does chivalry have to be dead? And that's also the question, if we then go over to the next part of the show, the consequences of his confrontation with the prince that was hurting the puppeteer girl. When he's being interrogated by Baelor Breakspear, Crown Prince to the Iron Throne. So before we go into that, what's your picture of Baelor so far?
Well, we hadn't seen very much of him during the first 4 episodes since they focused on Egg and Duncan. So I didn't have like a picture of him before we actually saw him and the way he interrogated Duncan.
Yeah, my image of Baelor so far, and as I've mentioned when Emmanuel was a part of the show, I haven't read the book, so I'm also going in, I have an understanding for the world and how it functions, but these characters are new for me. Baelor strikes me as a sort of prince that takes the regal responsibilities seriously and a man who understands the position of his family in the world. Whereas some of his family members want to cling to the heritage of the Dragon Lords and that our rule is self-evident, nobody should question our authority, he realizes no, our place in the world has changed. If you take a real-life example, Great Britain used to be an empire. They used to be the British Empire. They're not the British Empire anymore. So as a Prime Minister of Great Britain, you can't have the attitude that everybody knows that I lead the British Empire, you should respect me, I should have a seat at the table. It's ordained. No, that's not reality anymore, and you have to adapt. So bringing it back to Baelor, I see him as a man who understands that you have to do the politics, you have to think about appearances, so that there won't be a rebellion and so that our family won't fall from the throne. I have to think how I act as Crown Prince and future King. Which brings us to interrogation, and back to that question, really, like rising to the occasion or lowering yourself. When Duncan says, I only did what every true knight should do. And let's go back to idealism. Like on paper, this is what a knight is supposed to do. This is what we swore to do when we became knights, to protect the innocent, to protect the weak. And he's pleading to Baelor to live up to that chivalrous ideal. While in the moment, Baelor gives, in my opinion, more of an answer saying, yeah, but I'm also Crown Prince. That's more important. I have to think about statecraft. And then they're going to, prepare for the Duel of the Seven. They're short one guy, and they're picky about the rules. Like, if you don't have 7 knights, you're automatically lost. Okay, and Duncan pleads to the audience. Are there no true knights among you? I refuse to believe that the noble houses of Westeros have forgotten chivalry.
Yeah,
and we're
that
like,
was actually a powerful speech.
Yeah, truly powerful. It was like, come on. Does nobody believe in chivalry anymore? Like, come on, you can't all be assholes. There has to be a true dude among you. And then one rises, and you think, okay, that's good. That's a new character. He steps up to the challenge. Yeah. It was just to fuck with Duncan.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs at him. And
he stood up just to fart and then laugh about it and sit down. And that actually pissed me off when I saw that. I was like, you...
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this looks bad. And then the gates swing open, and a knight rides out wearing the Targaryen armor. Yeah. And the helmet is removed, and his crown prince Baelor saying, I will take Sir Duncan's side. And his brother asks, have you lost your senses? He attacked my son. No, he protected the innocent. And then he looks over at Duncan, as all true knights should do. Let the gods decide if he was righteous or not. Cut the black.
Oh,
completely perfect. Epic.
Yeah, it was a perfect cliffhanger because you like I was sitting like on needles waiting for the big fight to happen, and then the episode ended, and I was so frustrated because I just wanted to see more.
Yeah. Really frustrating cut to black. Super good cliffhanger.
Oh, I was so pissed off. I was like, now I want to see more now.
Yeah, but then we also have to take the other members who take his side. And I've seen there's been a lot of debate on the internet when it comes to making the squire into a knight. I think, if I remember correctly, the name of their house is Fossaway or something like that. And his cousin is a real asshole who betrays him in the last hour because he was promised a lordship. And says, I've seen men betray their honor for far less things than lordship. And the cousin is like, Sir Duncan, make me a knight. You need me. I'll fight by your side. And Duncan hesitates. And a lot of people read into that's foreshadowing that Duncan isn't a true knight, that he was never made a knight. I have a different take on that. That was not at all how I read it, because what you have to understand about knighthood, which is similar to some martial arts. I've practiced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Karate, where you have these belt systems, you're granted belts. And specifically in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's not enough to say, for example, I'm a purple belt. People want to know who gave you a purple belt.
Oh, okay.
Because anyone who has a black belt can give you a belt. There are no specific rules for it. Which means, okay, who made you this? And how legit is that? Was it a world champion? Was it an Olympic champion? Was it a coach who is known to be strict about what it requires to get a belt from this person? Knighthood is similar. Who knighted you? Was it a hedge knight? Was it a king? Was it a lord paramount? That plays into the prestige of your knighthood and how seriously the other knights will take you. And since Duncan is a simple hedge knight, he's a hedge knight whose entire knighthood has been called into question. He feels like, I don't have the respect to knight you. Like, I can't do that to you. That will be with you forever, and I can't guarantee that I will be a great knight of the realm and that one day people will say, oh, Sir Duncan the Tall knighted you. That's, wow, that's big. Like, that's respect. So, who steps in?
An interesting take, because I saw it way different.
Yeah, take your take first.
Yeah, my take was that he hesitated because he was a pretty young lad who wanted to be a knight. And he hesitated because he didn't want the young lad to die.
Okay, so he didn't want to put him into danger, is your take?
Yeah, that was my take.
Yeah, and that's also a good take. And before I go to the second part of my theory, that's a great thing in books and television, when you can create a scene with such depth that there are several plausible explanations to what's going on. That's like the truth of show, don't tell, so that you can actually have a discussion. What did this truly mean? So that brings me to the second part. Who actually knights the guy? Well, it's Lord Paramount Lionel Baratheon. Because the seven kingdoms have, at the top you have the king. Then you have 7 Lord Paramounts. And under them, they have their own vassals, different lords. Which means that the second highest authority in the realm is a Lord Paramount. And Lionel Baratheon, known as the Laughing Storm, is a famous knight and warrior, feared throughout the 7 kingdoms for his brilliance in the battlefield. Like most people in House Baratheon, they're known, ours is the fury. They're like the strong guys. And way back, they're also related to the Targaryens. The first Baratheon is rumored to have been the bastard brother of Aegon the Conqueror. So they're a very like big name. So that being knighted by Lionel Baratheon, that's a huge honor. That he says, step aside, I'll knight him. Which also tells a bit about Lionel and what kind of character he is, because we have seen him as this party boy who doesn't take shit too seriously. He's really wild. But he steps up to this occasion. And if you try to like sit in Duncan's boots, like I've had some drinks with this guy, I've been in a rope competition with him. We're not best friends. He's a Lord Paramount. I'm a simple hedge knight. But he takes my side. He's willing to fight with me. And when he asks, like, why are you doing this? I can't pass an opportunity to fuck up those Kingsguard and muddy their white cloak. Like, and there hasn't been a Duel of the Seven for ages. Like, I can't miss this. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
So what's your take on Lionel Baratheon?
Oh, he's a character in himself. I'm very fond of him as well. But like my favorites are Duncan and Egg, of course. Yeah. But I like him as well, just because he is kind of carefree. He knows he has power. And I think he doesn't abuse the power he has. He uses it for pleasure and building relationships and just to have fun. But when shit hits the fan, he's down. He's down to fight for a good cause.
I not necessarily a good cause. I read him as the kind of guy who's like, if he says he's your friend, then he truly has your back.
Yeah.
His word is bond.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy you meet at a party and you have some drinks and you're drunk and he says, oh, you're my brother for life. Like, I'll always help you. And you know, that's bullshit. You don't mean that. He's the kind of guy that if he slaps you on the shoulder and says, we are ride or die, he's serious with it. He's gonna live up to that.
Mm.
But also, I mean, beneath all that, he has a wisdom to him. Even in the earlier episodes when he talks to Duncan, there are some wise things he says.
Oh yeah, he when I think about him, it's like I can imagine he has been through some things in his life, and maybe he had to have like to deal with people who just wanted to be friends with him just for like fame and money and food and drinks for free.
Yeah, and that is sort of his first question to Duncan. Why are you in my tent? What do you want from me? I don't want anything from you. Okay, so you want to kill me. There has to be one of those two things. Why haven't you brought me a gift? Then he realizes, no, this guy, is he stupid? Or what's his deal? And then he challenges him a bit with the dancing. It's a sort of like push and pull. And they talk, and then when he's sitting there drunk and they're having like a heart-to-heart, where he's even placed his own crown on Duncan's head. Like, you should wear the antlers, here you go. Just that framing shows that in Lionel's mind, they are friends now. He just realized like, okay, this is just a normal dude. He's a nice guy, I like him. He's a bit naive. He doesn't know what he's given himself into. And Duncan gives the honest question like, oh, I'm just this guy. What chance do I have to win? And Lionel says the truth. None. Like, the odds are against you. Can't lie to you, my man. Like, this is gonna be tough.
It's like no bullshit.
Yeah, he's an honest guy. So I read it like that was when they became friends. And you see that in the next episodes and scenes that every time Lionel meets Duncan, it's like automatic. We're friends. Like, we're doing this rope competition. Do you heed my call to war? I need you. Come here, let's do this. And that he's always invited to his tent and he can drink and eat. And we know that Duncan is poor. He can't pay for that stuff. Lionel pays for it. So in Lionel's mind, they are already friends. So when Prince Aegon comes and asks him, like, you have to help Duncan. For him, it was probably more like, of course I'm going to help Duncan. He's my friend. Say no more. Where's the fight? Yeah. And he's the kind of guy who doesn't want to say that to Duncan's face. Like, hey, we're bros, of course. I'll die by your side if it comes to that. He has to give a cool answer. I want to fuck up the king guard.
Of course.
He's that kind of dude. Can't go too emotional.
No. That would be coming too close, personally.
Yeah.
I think.
So, it's going to be really interesting to see how it ends because season 1 has 6 episodes. The next episode 5, In the Name of the Mother, is released February 15th. And then we just have one more episode. So my take is that the next episode is going to focus on the duel. And we're going to see how the duel plays out. And the season finale will be the aftermath of that duel. What was the consequences?
Yeah.
And I guess that Duncan Egg are pretty safe. They're going to survive this. Because otherwise there wouldn't be anything more with the show. They have to get out. So I'm more worried about Lionel. I'm more worried about Baelor. And the Squire, because I don't think this is gonna end cleanly. I don't think everybody survives this. I think a few people on Team Dunk is gonna die, but I do think that Team Dunk is gonna go out victorious.
Yes. My take on it is, of course, they're gonna win. But I think that Lionel, I believe he will be injured in some way, not die specifically, but injured badly. That's what I believe. And the Crown Prince, like I can see it in my head, like before my eyes, the scene, how the Crown Prince will almost kill the bad Dragon Prince. I don't remember his name.
Something on Aerion Targaryen, I think. Something.
Yeah, like Aerion Targaryen. Yeah. I think that he will lift his arm up with his sword and almost strike him, and then Duncan will get in the way and say, no, spare him. Because that's the right thing to do. That's what I believe. Yeah. Duncan will, he will not kill him.
Yeah, I feel like Aerion Targaryen is the name of the prince. My take is, I think you're right that, as an author myself, you have this classical thing that choices need consequences and they need to be connected to the character. So, okay, he's chivalrous. There has to be a consequence to his chivalry.
Yeah.
So even though we realize as an audience that, okay, he has this opportunity to kill the crazy dragon, but he doesn't do it because it's not chivalrous, I think they're going to connect it to a way so that you feel that that was the only option Duncan had if he's a chivalrous knight. So I think that it's going to defeat Arion, and Arion is going to surrender. And you don't kill a knight that has surrendered. You can, but it's not chivalrous. And therefore Duncan won't do it. And then either Baelor or Lionel is going to say like, okay, that was not the right thing to do. You should have killed him. Now you have an enemy for life and he's a prince. This is going to haunt you. So that the bad guy will be a recurring threat in season 2. That's my guess of how that part will play out. Because I agree, it's too clean if Duncan kills him. And the only way he can kill him chivalrously is if the bad prince doesn't submit and doesn't surrender, doesn't yield the duel.
Yeah.
But because the only consequences for him yielding is that Duncan wasn't guilty in the eyes of the god. There's no consequences for the prince. He's not the one on trial. He's the accuser. It's like a trial in our world. If somebody accuses me for something and we go to court and I'm found free, there's no consequences necessarily for the accuser. Just meant that I did nothing wrong. I'm free of consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
The only problem is that the dragon will lose face in front of the Lords of Ashford. And I don't think he's the kind of guy who would like that.
No, I think he might throw a temper tantrum.
Yeah, and I think he's going to plot his revenge.
Of course.
But it's also going to be like a big deal for Duncan, because then he goes from a hedge knight that nobody knew of to a knight who defeated a prince of the realm.
Yes, and did not kill him.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a big part of the next season as well.
And I also think because they have mentioned several times in the show that in Westeros, when a knight loses a joust, he has to surrender his horse and armor to the victorious knight, and it then has to be ransomed back. And I think they've mentioned that like 3 times throughout the show. And that's also a regular thing in writing, that when you want the audience to pay attention to something that's going to be important, you remind them about it. You don't just say it once. You work it in several times so that you're going to think, this is important. I don't remember the guy who said it, but there was this person who said that, like, I think maybe it's called Chekhov's gun or something like that you only show a gun if it's going to be used. Otherwise, put it off stage.
Yeah, that's smart.
Which is like a common law in fiction writing now, regardless if it's screenplay, TV, or literature. Only show a gun if it's going to go off. Only show something if it's going to matter. But then you also have the rule of subverting reader expectation, that you can show a gun just for it to not work in the end. But in this situation, I think it's a bit of a Chekhov's gun, that he's going to win, which means he wins the horse and armor of the prince. And of course, the prince wants that back. The prince is very rich, so it's going to be a hefty ransom, which means that now Duncan can pay for his armor, which he got on credit, and he can buy back the horses he had to sell.
Yeah.
And he has some money over afterwards. That's how I think it's going to play in.
Yeah.
And how they subverted our expectation was they were building it towards the tourney, that we thought that, okay, he's going to have to fight through the tourney and become the champion, and that's how he's going to get respect and money. No, he's going to get respect and money by beating the evil prince.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's going to work. I think that's how they've set it up.
Yeah, and for me personally, I really do hope he gets his horses back.
Yeah.
I'm a horse person. I love horses. So I almost cried when he had to sell one of his horses.
Yeah.
I was like, no, not the horsey. I hope he gets them back.
And another question, compared to, because you've seen House of the Dragon, and we're going to go into details about that in another episode, but you did see a tourney in episode 1 of House of the Dragon. How does that tourney compare to what you've seen in this show? Which one is better?
Oh, they're 2 different, like very different kinds of tourneys for me, because the one in A Night of Seven Kingdoms is way bigger with a lot more contestants at the same time, so you can focus on one-on-one as much as in House of the Dragon.
Yeah. And also you had a bit of a similar situation here as well, because Daemon loses the duel against the future Kingsguard Knight, who says, yield. So already there we understand that if Daemon yields, then the future Kingsguard guy, because I don't remember his name right now, can't kill Daemon. He has to let him live. But if Daemon doesn't release his blade, then it's fair game to kill him. Yeah. So I mean, they've already established that rule in the world. That if you yield, you can't kill the person.
Yeah, but I do actually prefer the turn in House of the Dragon.
Okay, why? What was the difference for you?
For me, it was... Excuse me. Sorry. For me, it was the more impact of one-on-one person. They could actually shoot the scene, so you could actually see everything on just the two guys who were competing against each other.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get that in the episode that comes, that we're gonna get a big focus on this choreographed fight.
Yes. Like, I'm not looking down on the scenes in The Night of Seven Kingdoms. I like them as well. The one thing I didn't like was the Dragon Prince killed the horse. I was very mad. But the scene itself, it's very well made.
But that seems to be like almost a historical trait for the Targaryens, because Daemon in his tourney also leaned down and sucker punched the horse to win.
Yes. So, and
that seems to be a card in the Targaryen jousting history. Go for the horse.
Yeah, kill the horse to get the man.
I kind of feel like their opponents should know, wait a minute. They always do that trick. I should be prepared for it.
Yes, maybe buckle up the horse even more where you think they're gonna sucker punch him.
Yeah, just to take in our producer in the discussion, who's a big fan of the NFL, National Football League. If I remember correctly, the teams in the NFL use they watch like tapes of old games, so they kind of know what the opponent might do.
Yeah, obviously they have to.
Yeah, so it feels sort of like something that the knights in the Seven Kingdoms should do as well. They should study the history of their opponents.
Harder for them to watch old tapes.
Yeah, maybe they can read about it.
Yeah, there should be somebody reporting about it.
Yeah, or perhaps you
sports journalist writing everything down.
You can have like a court painter, like paint it for me.
Why not?
You have to be a fast painter.
Yeah. We need to watch some game paintings here to see. Yes, the tourney of 405 after Aegon's conquest. You can see there they did the classic horse trick. They did it 5 times.
or a horse coroner that writes down the ways the horses died.
Oh yeah.
And that's also something you kind of miss when you're watching a tourney like this, that you want kind of that NFL desk in the corner, where they're breaking down the tourney.
the commentators.
Yeah, with the classical, NFL music to pump people up.
Oh yeah, and then you hear the two people talking. Yeah, he's going for the horse even more. Yeah.
Now the winners of the Northern and Southern Conferences is facing off in the Super Joust of King's Landing.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, you and I, Kelly, we were at the jousting tournament last year at the Medieval Week in Gotland, and then they had these heralds who kind of did that job, who not only introduced the knights, but they were supposed to also pump up the crowd. So they made it very clear before it started that, like, okay, you people sitting on this side, you're supposed to support Team Visby, name of the city in Gotland. Another side is supposed to support Team Gotland. So these are the two teams facing off. So you need to really cheer for your knight and really boo and heckle the other knight. They're going to come in turns. So the heralds it was almost like a rap battle, like talking shit about the other herald and the other knight, and like, we might have lost the first 2 jousts, but that was just to give you a chance. Now we're gonna fuck you guys up. You got nothing on us. Like, here comes this great knight. You tremble, shit your pants.
Oh yeah.
We were really doing a good job with that.
Of course, and I think our side was the better one.
Team Visby lost, but they lost valiantly.
Yes.
This summer is going to be different. but that's like a detail I miss from this show, that you don't really have that aspect. The Herald only introduces the knight, what we could see. Like, oh, here comes Prince this and that, Bright Flame. Oh, here comes... not like boosting him up. Like the great Bright Flame, the last living dragon, champion of this and this, tremble in fear. And not the other herald going, but he has not faced the mighty knight of Ashford, the Sunbreaker, bane of dragons. I wanted a bit of that as well. But so far they haven't had that in the Game of Thrones universe at all.
No, it's too formal.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, it's a sport event. And you really get that feeling when you follow Dunk and Egg. It's like they're at this sport event, like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When you get to see the crowd and people buying drinks and cheering and like thinking, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then when the prince...
It was like an event to go and see, like, the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And then when the prince kills the horse, the crowd reacts and thinks like, oh, he cheated.
Yeah.
That wasn't okay.
Yes.
They start throwing stuff and they have to like break the crowd. Like, I don't think that happens that usually in the NFL, but in European football, it can happen that a bad call from the judge can make people erupt on the arena.
Yes. Yeah, like soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
Here in Europe, the fights that occur in European soccer. Ooh, there's like a reason. There's always a lot of policemen on site, especially here in Sweden, because people fight each other and they almost kill each other over their own teams.
And I think that could have happened historically in tourneys as well. I mean, let's say that House Baratheon has a rivalry with House Tully. And then they're at the tavern and you have retinue soldiers from both those houses drinking. And one is gloating like, oh, Lord Baratheon, he kicked off your lord from the horse. We're so much better. I only got lucky, or he cheated. And then it can turn into a fist fight in the tavern. Feels like something that could happen in such a world.
Yeah.
I mean, people are people in the end of the day.
Yeah, people. And like historically, we haven't changed at all.
Yeah, we're still humans.
Yeah. And humans fight when we get mad.
And especially when we get drunk.
Of course, yeah. Drunken fights. It's hilarious to watch.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for right now on when it comes to A Night of the Seven Kingdom. It's going to be super interesting seeing episode 5.
Yes.
Probably next episode we're going to be talking about House of the Dragon, and then we're going to summarize episode 5 and 6 of A Night of the Seven Kingdom, and then talk about what we felt about the season as a whole, as well as the future for the show. I read that it has already been renewed for 2 more seasons, so we're gonna get more of it.
Yes.
And I think I read something that episode 4 was the highest rated episode of anything Game of Thrones related. The IMDb scored for at least is 9.7 out of 10, with 45,000 raters. And if you look at the episodes before that, you can see a sort of curve. Episode 1 has 8.2, episode 2 has 8.3, episode 3 has 9.1, and now we're at 9.7.
Oh yeah, it's only getting better.
Yeah, so I think they're very exciting. Very excited, like the production team, all the actors and stuntmen and like everybody connected to the show is probably really glad, like, okay, we have good momentum, we did this good. And that's the fun thing, that because you really liked House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Not a lot of fans agree with you, unfortunately. So from HBO's perspective, House of the Dragon has been a flop. And there's been a lot of controversy around the production of the show. So from HBO's point of view, I feel like their goal for this show was, let's get back to our peak. Let's revitalize Game of Thrones. And so far, it feels like they have succeeded with it. And I think executives in HBO feel like, okay, we see some life signs in this franchise again. We need to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, because I saw the making of A Night of Seven Kingdoms, and the production team for all of the episodes is humongous.
Yeah, I however read that they're getting a smaller budget for the next 2 seasons. which is not the show's fault in itself. It's a corporate decision for everything HBO and Warner Brothers that they're tightening their budget. There's happening a lot of stuff in Hollywood, a lot of consolidation within it. For example, Netflix is trying to acquire Warner Brothers and HBO. And the board of directors and shareholders have agreed to the terms, but now it has to go through different government instances until it can be like finalized. So I think that plays in as well. Like, we're selling the company, we can't burn a lot of money. Like, okay. So I mean, even though they have made a decision for the budget, let's say that the deal is finalized and Netflix is now the owner, then they will make a new evaluation budget-wise and what they want to do with the show and so forth. Because now they're the one who owns it and pay for it. So they might say something else, like, okay, this is a tremendous success, let's pour some money into this, you get a bigger budget. That could happen.
Oh, I really do hope they do that. Because I don't want the next season to flop only because they didn't have a big enough budget. Yeah,
exactly. And you can also change things like the run times of the episode, the amounts of episodes per season. My opinion is that it's worked pretty well with this like half-hour episodes. You've had like a good tempo in the episodes thanks to it. It never feels dragged out or that you have unnecessary scenes just to fill a time slot.
Yeah.
So I think they should stick to a format that clearly is working for them.
Yes, I think so too, actually.
Yeah. So do you have any last words before we cut off for today?
I just want to say thank you for letting me be on the show. I'm very excited to keep doing this.
Warmly welcome.
And I hope that you people that listen enjoyed this episode with me in it. And I hope you don't have too many complaints about my English, since I am Swedish as well.
Yes, and we've covered that in the previous episodes, or attitude towards that. That before you can complain too much about our English, you have to send the complaint in Swedish.
Yes, and
when you can beat us in Swedish, then we will bow for you. That is the jousting rules of this tournament.
Oh, yes, of course. And if you can say 6 laxar i en laxask completely fine in Swedish, then
thou shall be crowned champion.
Yes, you will. But only if you can say that perfectly in Swedish.
Yes.
Then you can complain.
So then we're gonna thank Lady Kellie-Anne of House Davidsson for gracing us with your presence. So until next time, have a good one.
Yes, you too. Bye-bye.